Primitivo di Manduria.
Hello friends, have you heard how crispy this Italian porchetta is? Aren't you curious to see how it was done? If yes, then follow this video until the end. Before continuing, I ask you to be patient with some incorrect terms. Consider that it is the first in English, so your suggestions in the comments will be welcome. And don't forget to leave an encouraging like to continue with other recipes. Let's leave and go see the ingredients right away. Obviously, we must choose only fresh ingredients. We avoid dried or powdered spices. To fill our porchetta, we will need salt, pepper, white wine, garlic, sage, laurel, rosemary, and tufts of fennel. Instead of fresh fennel, fennel seeds are also good. The quantities are variable. They depend on the size of the porchetta. In any case, in proportion, rosemary must be predominant over other spices, and garlic must be well calibrated without exaggerating. The filling should be shredded with a knife, or to speed it up, you can use a spice grinder. Chop it into small pieces, but do not reduce them to powder. The garlic instead, better if you chop it with a knife. In the machine, it could become a cream, and this is not good. In a bowl, mix all the spices except the salt, pepper, and wine. These should be put separately. About the part of pork that interests us, in order to make this porchetta, we need 2 cuts of meat, a boneless pork belly. The piece must be squared, and the outer skin must not be removed. And then we need a piece to put in the center, like the pork loin. We fillet the belly on the sides and the parts that are too thick, and at the 2 ends we separate a little skin by a few centimeters, so it will be easier to roll up and close the piece. We also fillet the loin so that we can better insert the spices. Now that we have prepared the parts, let's test to see if everything can roll up and close well. Now we have to fill it. First, we dry everything well and go to moisten it by massaging with white wine and then with salt. Don't do like me that I forgot the salt and I had to go back. The amount of salt is 20 grams per kilogram of meat. So weigh it and calculate the amount of salt. Spread the salt on all parts, then sprinkle the pepper. You decide the amount, there is no rule. Now the time has come to insert the spices in every part. The spices must be laid out in every slot. Good, we stuffed our porchetta. Now we have to close it by sewing it. First we roll it up, and with a food rope, knotted in a loop, we tighten it in the center, so it will be easier to sew it with a large needle than those used to sew curtains and with string for food use. If it is difficult to pass the needle through the skin, with the tip of a knife by piercing the point where to insert the needle. After that, you complete the binding with the rope, creating a net all around the porchetta. It will help us to hold it firm in all its parts without making it lose its round shape. Once this is done, all we have to do is salt the entire outer part, pack it, and close it in the fridge for 1 night. The salt penetrating the meat will also bring with it the flavor of the spices, while the external salting will help make the skin crispy during cooking. Well, we got to the point of baking our porchetta in the barbecue. Before doing so, we have to pierce the skin with a spit over the entire surface. This will allow all the excess fat to escape. At the same time, lubricates the skin, making it crispier. Then we have to protect the outer parts with aluminum foil. We do it because the meat could burn, since there is no skin that protects it. The cooking will proceed indirectly in 3 phases with as many different temperatures. For the first 45 minutes, we brown it at 374 degrees Fahrenheit with a mixed smoke with applewood and cherry, after which we proceed by lowering the temperature of the kettle to 320 degrees until the 143 degrees Fahrenheit inside the porchetta is reached. To be precise, I used a thermometer, but approximately the cooking times vary according to the weight of the piece. The cooking times are about 1 hour and 20 minutes for each kilogram. The ideal of this cooking would be to use a rotisserie, but for those who don't have it like me, you can do it that way too. Just simply rotate the porchetta a quarter of a turn every 45 minutes, remembering to wet it with a brush with the same fat poured into the bottom tray. We can say that the second cooking phase, the smoking phase, ends once we reach the internal 143 degrees Fahrenheit. At this point, we move on to the third phase as well as the final phase. We raise the temperature of the BBQ to 446 degrees Fahrenheit. We empty the tray from the fats under the porchetta so as to reduce the humidity inside the kettle, and we continue until we bring the porchetta to an internal temperature of 167 degrees Fahrenheit, remembering to turn it a quarter every 15 minutes. Arrived at the target temperature, We bring the porchetta on a grill and let it cool to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. In this precise moment, it is ready to be served at the table. At this point, I just have to tell you, eat it and enjoy it all.